everybody, and welcome back to another reaction video from Out on That Line. And today I'm going to be reacting to the song Sundown by Gordon Lightfoot, live on Midnight Special 1974. Gordon Lightfoot is another one of those inexplicable gaps in my musical experience that I'm hoping to change. I hate that it took him passing away for me to change that, but under the guidance of my co-host Jeff, we are going to be tackling the music and the life and the times of Gordon Lightfoot in an upcoming episode. So before we do that, I want to get my feet wet with a nice live performance of what I'm told is one of his absolute best songs. So without further ado, let's get to it. This is Gordon Lightfoot with Sundown, live on Midnight Special 1974.
Thank you. I can see her lying back in a satin dress, in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. She's been looking like the queen in a sailor's dream, and she don't always say what she really means. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. I can picture every move that a man could make. Getting lost in a loving is your first mistake. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs.
That's such a good hook.
Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning when I'm losing again. I can see her looking fast in her faded jeans. She's a hard-loving woman, got me feeling mean. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning when I'm losing again.
So I often find that these kinds of songs are the most difficult to react to on the channel because when you look at what Jeff and I usually do, it's rock and roll. And rock and roll has the advantage of just bricking you in the face, overwhelming your senses. It's coming at you with volume and intensity and lots of bells and whistles. And I'm not calling rock and roll a gimmick. Bad rock and roll hides behind a gimmick, but great rock and roll, there's nothing like it, like the power that it's able to achieve. And then you look at something like singer-songwriter and folk, and it is a completely different animal, obviously. But how do you talk about these two different things? Because with a crazy over-the-top rock song, like I think of the video I did for Feeder, Buck Rogers, And that is just such a weird, quirky song. The live version had like a huge audience energy to it. There's so much you can say without repeating yourself. So then where do you go for a song like Sundown, which is 3 guys and 3 guitars and the occasional harmony? Where do you go with that? Especially when you look at the subject matter and the lyrics and the approach to it. It's not like it's nothing we've ever heard before. So what makes it unique and what makes it interesting to you? And truthfully, when it started, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna react to this because there's just like, what you see is what you get. I don't really see a whole lot more going on underneath it. But then as it kind of continues and it's not trying to put a hat on a hat, the song is just straightforward, being what it is, doing what it set out to do, and it lives and dies on the perspective of Gordon Lightfoot. And I think that, to me, as I sit here and talk to you about it, is where the power is at. It's that thing we love on this channel, the singular vision or shared vision of geniuses. And maybe you think it's hyperbole to call this genius, and I more so just mean it's someone with aptitude and talent, someone who was meant to be doing what Gordon Lightfoot was doing here. This wasn't just somebody that you can tell. You can tell when someone is faking emotional authenticity. And you can tell when it's very, very real. And this clearly came out of a real place. And it's not tragic and overwrought, but it's got sad elements to it. And it's not super duper Frank Zappa funny, but it's got tongue in cheek. I love that line about looking like the queen in a sailor's dream. Like, you instantly know what that means. That instantly conveys some kind of meaning to you. And it even like cracked a little smile on old Gordon Lightfoot's face. And I think we've talked about it before, but music is allowed to be simple. Music is allowed to be soft and slow and low-key and stripped back. And it's those contrasts between the cocaine sweat energy of Cold Chisel and something kind of tender and introspective like Sundown. And I went a step further than I usually do in a reaction video, and I looked up, like, is this about anyone? What's the story? And I'm gonna have to say allegedly, because I don't know what happened in any kind of legal sense, so I wanna cover my ass. But allegedly, Gordon Lightfoot was dating or married to the woman that sold John Belushi, allegedly, the fatal dose of cocaine and heroin that killed him. Apparently the song is about her and this idea that Gordon Lightfoot was home working and his girlfriend went out on the town and he was like, oh, she's looking good. Like, how do I know? How do I know that she's gonna be faithful or someone else isn't gonna make moves? And you know, maybe you haven't, but I sure have had those moments where your paranoia and your jealousy and your thoughts just run wild on you. And in that sense, this is a super relatable song, done in a super relatable way. It's not over the top and it's not nothing. And I know all of this sounds like faint and damning praise or saying like, wow, he did a great job at being completely mediocre. But I don't see this as unexciting or mediocre or anything like that, despite the fact that when you look at it at first glance, it doesn't seem like much. But then Sundown just gets in your head. And what a hook. And it just draws you into the context of the whole song. So if we talk about rock and roll has the advantage of smashing you in the face, the trade-off is it doesn't do a great job of drawing you in. So Gordon Lightfoot can't smash you in the face, but he's gradually gonna beckon you in and you're going to gain a greater understanding of what he's talking about by the time it's all through. So all of that rambly mumbo jumbo is to say, I really enjoyed this. You didn't hear it from me, but Jeff and I might have more Gordon Lightfoot content coming down the bike here shortly. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe if you're not and turn on your notifications and suggestions for what you would like us to react to. We really appreciate when you give us that feedback. So until next time, thanks for watching.